So, and again, I don't really know where his drop dead really is because obviously you can print the maps, you can print the counters, you can maybe even print the charts. It's maybe you're just waiting on the rules if there's any last minute updates you wanted to make. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, with
So,
the, I mean, I'm helping Sound of Drums with their playtest of their Katraba game, and
mm,
so they've got. It looks like, for the most part, the maps, the counters, charts, some of that stuff is all done. But during the course of the playtest, now we're figuring out, okay, what's the status with this particular rule or that particular rule, or stuff like that. So. Um, I'm sure that that's the last sort of thing that goes. It's the same thing with the playtest that I was helping with Clash of Arms for ALAO.
right.
They had the map. Map's been done for quite a while now. Counters, I think they've gotten all the revisions done on those. So then it was just a matter of getting you know, any of the special rules kind of figured out. Um, and then I think Ed's got a big chunk of the scenario booklet all written anyway. So
Yeah. Well, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I know that the scenario section is the part that's probably been the most dynamic. Just
right,
not that we're necessarily changing. Although actually he did in this version 7 of the playtest rules, he said, "You know what? There were so many special rules in scenario 6 and 7, which are the American attack on Quebec."
right.
Said, and he said, it's kind of like at some point the cure became worse than the disease, and he just realized that he had done so many things, and he thought, you know what, never mind, I'm going to undo a lot of that. So
Right.
I was reading the rules today, and I keep looking for the changes. I'm sure when Paul and I sit down tomorrow, it'll probably be more clear where the changes really are. But I kept waiting for something more obvious, but no. Anyway, we'll see.
Cool.
So we're going to do scenario 7, which is the not historical attack. So it's like it's more of a daytime attack, not a middle of the night blizzard attack.
Okay.
We're going to give that a whirl and see how that goes. And to be honest, I mean, I hate to say this, but I mean, I will be thrilled to take it off the table uh, because I want to put other stuff on my
Play
table.
something else, of course.
Yeah, it's been there on the table forever, so it's just like, anyway.
Well, cool. Well, and now we are at what is it? The 11 o'clock turn? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think we decided that we don't, in fact, have to roll for either side.
Yes.
Um,
We don't have enough
for
losses
their up and
yet.
down.
So, as opposed to when we played this with the original rules where the Austrians had already lost.
Where we
So,
didn't make it to 11,
we did
exactly.
not. Exactly. So, yes, now we have something that's approaching some semblance of a battle. So, okay. Well, if we're ready to go, I guess we can start chucking some dice. We actually have one person watching us.
Well, yeah, you snuck us on the air again.
Yeah.
Keep doing that, brother.
Well, and I did post it a day or so in advance, so people might have seen that.
Mm,
that but we do have our usual regulars who are be tuning in on Sunday night and surprised to find Moscow out instead of Lobositz.
absolutely. That's going to confuse them
So
all.
that counters look
All
very
right.
much the
Well,
same.
freaking everyone out. The
Oh my
Prussians
goodness,
get
the
to,
Prussians get to
the
go
Prussians even
first.
can do a wing if they want to,
Wow,
Oh my goodness.
like a whole different game here.
it is. What is going to happen? It's anyone's guess.
Huh.
Well,
All right.
probably the most lost in this whole question is Dave. Like,
Yeah,
what am I?
Dave was just gonna, he had his sunglasses on,
Mm-hmm.
and he
I
was,
actually
Yep,
did.
yeah, and he's just like, okay, wake me when it's my turn.
that's right.
Yeah, yeah.
I forgot to leave them in the car, and they were around my neck here, and I just put them over on the stool.
That's right. Well,
Okay.
that's not unlike how our Michael and I played a Labatai Duel in the Desert. That was what is it? Um,
2020?
yeah. No. It was 2019. It was the Wisconsin
2019. Yeah.
before. Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
and it
of course it was 2019. Right.
was it Blazowitz? I think it was something like that.
Bautzen.
Boutzen, that's it. I knew it was something there, 1813. And all
Yeah.
the action's heading down at the other end of the table, and I'm rolling to see if this bridge gets repaired so I can come across the bridge and do anything. And you're sitting there waiting for your troops to march on the board. And we must have spent like 2 days talking to each other, rolling,
Yeah.
waiting for something to happen. And then finally we finally showed up on the map and could start to do things. And by that point, the French had already kind of broken the Allies down on the other end, and the fellow we were sitting opposite decided to take his forces and run off the map before we could even come to grips with them. It was very frustrating. So,
Oh, yeah, that was I mean, it was probably good for me just because I didn't have that good a grip on the rules, and it was nice to have a relatively modest command
yeah.
to do. It's probably more frustrating for you because you're sitting there just kind of, giving me the occasional pointer and hoping to goodness you could get across that bridge.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It was it was one of those things like, come on, really? Really? So, yes. So we've been in a position where we've had to sit around, put our sunglasses on, take a nap, and then somebody says, "Oh, it's a new turn. Oh, let me take my dice and roll and see if I've got the bridge repaired." Nope. Oh well. Wake me in 3 hours. So,
All right. Well, let's see what I think I'm going to do my infantry wing and all the artillery.
wow, it is a miracle, Christmas miracle.
It
Yeah.
is a Christmas miracle.
So let's do a little firing up here on these grenadiers.
Okay.
What
So I got one.
Usually I'm the one who's whistling. Who's whistling?
I'm whistling.
That's Eric.
It's a little Gilbert and Sullivan from Pirates of the Penzance.
Wow. I mean, honestly, I thought my son had just left, so I was like, who is whistling? Because it didn't even sound like it was coming out of my laptop. Are you a ventriloquist whistler? Because that's pretty impressive.
I actually am because I don't
Ah.
I can whistle with my mouth open. So when I was a
Hmm.
kid, it would cause the teachers no end of frustration, particularly the substitute teachers. They'd hear this whistling, they'd looking around for someone who's got their lips pursed together,
Of course.
and I could whistle without having to use my lips.
My gosh.
So,
And that just took you down a lengthy trail of misery and mayhem
oh yes, we had so
as
much
you
fun
learn to
when
violate the rules.
when
All
we
right.
okay. We've
I
been
got
vamping
nine.
enough.
Yeah, we got nine musketeers and three grenadiers firing on this
How
little
exciting.
grenadier over here.
Okay, so the musketeers are times 4.
Four.
So that's going to be 36, and then you had what, another 15 for the grenadiers.
Yeah.
So that's going to boost you up to 51. So that's going to
Yeah.
get you at 3-1. 3-1 with a minus 10.
It looks like sounds like a winner here. So 3-1.
Oh,
Oh,
that is a big
nice.
roll.
Uh-oh.
That's an
That may be.
83. That's 2 dead.
I
Wow.
bet it is.
Yeah, those guys are not happy. what's left of them. Let's see.
Well, to be
Increments
fair,
lost.
2/3 of them aren't sad either.
That is true.
You got to be a
Okay.
glass, half full kind of person.
It is true.
That's
Those that survived are saying, "Oh, this is our lucky day."
this is your lucky day.
It's only pieces of cardboard. Hey, we've got Jeff from Hex to Hex signing in. Hello,
Ah,
Jeff.
hello, Hex to
Hello, Jeff.
Hex. All right. So let's see. All right, somebody coming out of the general order, he can go into
Are you
whatever
done
form.
shooting?
Oh, yeah, I got to shoot some artillery
Yeah,
here.
that's what I thought.
Oh,
That. Sorry about that.
No. You mentioned you were activating them, so I figured I would inquire.
Oh, well, we'll go to the bottom here first, because those aren't going to do any movement. All right, so the first stack will shoot the southernmost stack here. Will shoot straight down the line at the artillery and the whatever that is. I'm just going to shoot here. I actually hope for a special result. Nope, I didn't, but I might have
That's a
got
good.
something with that. All right, so we have to calculate now. I got two at, they should be both at 1, I think. So I only got 4 increments.
So 4 to 10 is going to be, you're on the 1 to 3 table. So a 92 is not enough.
92 is
You need to break 100 to do something.
Yeah, the 10s, the 24s are ×1 at that range. Well, I do get a +10.
Okay, well then that would make it 102.
Oh, for being up on your berg.
Right.
Yep.
But you have to, if it's artillery all by itself, you got to get 2 hits to make it take 1
That's
hit
right.
of damage.
That's right. If the target is artillery, that's right.
Gee, I should have shot at the skirmishers, huh? Okay. All right. And the other stack here is, boy, I could.
That's going to be 8, right? I think.
So there, yep, 4 times 2. Yep, they're
so
8.
Going to be 8 to 10. So that's 1 to 1.5.
Let's see if we can hit. Yeah, let's +10. Let's see if I can shoot in the 90s again here. I doubt it, but let's see.
No.
Oh, a
on the other
special
end.
result. That hex goes on fire.
No. 09 says heavy smoke.
No.
I'm looking at artillery.
No.
Special results. Prussians 8 and 9 for 1 hex range reroll with -10. At 2 or more hexes, cancel fire.
Special rules.
Yeah, it's special rule 2.6 on page 5.
Oh, so it's not the special result table that we use?
Well,
It probably is that too, but any special result, if I'm shooting on the village, it results in a fire.
Oh, okay. I'm just looking at the chart, and I'm just like, I don't see anything about that. So,
but I'm just looking to make sure there's not any other wrinkles that we need to be aware of. Okay. All right. Okay. So
burning down the house.
So what do we?
Firing
do we
artillery
have?
deck and rolling a
Do we
fire.
have any? Do we have any fire markers?
I would just use the fog marker.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, it's
That's
there under
close.
game markers. Yeah, but no, I don't see a fire marker per se. Lobositz
Yeah, yeah.
markers.
Well, I mean, they pointed out that if you had Mulvitz Chatuzits, you would have it.
Right.
So, it doesn't come with the game kind of thing. But I mean, they told you were lots of different choices you could do. But anyway,
No,
that's fine.
yeah. Now, okay, just a question that came to my mind when I was actually going through this. Now, to my howitzer, does that now block my howitzer shot if I am firing into
Uh,
a unit? Doesn't in a hex does not
yeah,
block my,
fire blocks,
but it's
right.
Well, does the
Y-
village block line
Yeah,
of sight?
I mean, what it
village,
specifically
but not
says
my
is that
howitzer.
Oh,
howitzers may fire over enemy units. That is to say, those units don't block LOS if the village is a target hex.
So,
But in other words, they don't block LOS. But a, a fire hex does block LOS. So yeah, you can't fire past it.
so.
All
All
right,
right.
and then
So,
the first thing you do in the next turn is roll a die for each village hex adjacent to the fire. On a roll of 8 to 9, the new hex catches fire. New fire hexes do not beget fires on the turn of their creation. If there are units in the new fire hex, the owner must displace them. Okay, that's very interesting. I'm 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 kind of baffled how this is supposed to work because it just seems like it's going to be kind of a no-brainer that you don't even need to bother engaging. You just blast both cities as many times as you can early enough in the day and then hope that that just burns the villages out. You haven't actually beaten the Austrians, you've just burned the villages down. I don't know, it seems weird. Uh, Especially since it's every turn.
yeah,
There's
that
going to be
is
what,
interesting. Yeah,
one,
because some
two,
of the other
three?
games, it was just at the top of the hour you check to see if it's spread or something
Yeah.
like that. No,
I wonder if that's one of the things he said. He wasn't 100% sure he was happy with the rules as they had been put together, but who knows? We'll see.
well, and you've got that particular hex is adjacent to 3 other village
Exactly,
hexes.
which means there's a,
There's a
arguably a kind of better than even chance that one of them catches fire in the next
right,
turn, and then depending on which one it is, it could get even worse.
right.
So I don't know. It kind of makes me wonder I mean, it looks like maybe I gave him 2 victory points for nothing. Because I mean, it's all going to burn down anyway.
Well, we'll see. As I
I
said,
mean, just
all
I
right.
guess my whole thought though is, I mean, what is it? We play until like 5.
oh, I mean, yeah, I mean, by here within a few hours, the chances are the whole village will have gone up in smoke. The
I
only
mean,
thing that
especially
won't
some
have
of
gone
it's
up in
being as
smoke
small as it is.
will be the church. The church isn't a village hex, is it? Or is it considered a village hex? In which case it could catch on fire. Or is it something different?
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I don't see anything that where it's differentiating like
Yeah, well, in that case,
like in Labataya, you'd have like a church or something. A walled farm would be called a
yeah,
special
yeah. I mean,
structure or
yeah,
something
and
like this.
clearly
But
since the terrain effects chart doesn't include it,
yeah,
then it's just another village hex. It just happens to look fancy. So
yeah,
interesting.
yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, interesting indeed. You could just that's very interesting. You could just set the stuff on fire and just hold back and wait and
Yeah,
see how it all goes, and not have to engage in
yeah.
anything. That would be awfully gamey, but kind of silly too.
Well, I mean, awfully gamey, and I don't know. It seems funny that just seems like seems like you just need to put yourself in the mind of a gamer, and it just seems like if to have a victory condition like that, because correct me if I'm wrong, the victory condition is if you've got the vineyard and if you've burned down both Lobositz and Solovitz, then that's an automatic victory for you. Am I right? Or did I forget
I
something?
mean, he's only got. Well, he's.
No,
I
I
don't know
don't
how
think
many
so.
victory points he
I think
has.
it's right. I think there's a whole calculation, and I
I
think
don't
it.
think so. I
I
think
think
that's automatic victory.
Well,
I thought it was if I got both from the example, if I had both of them burned down and I still had to, I could it be a like a tie type of thing. There was a
I don't
I
think
I
so.
was reading the calculation there, and it's like very.
Okay.
I mean,
well,
Oh, I
carry on with
see.
the
Yeah,
rest of your
if the
your
Prussian
shooting, I
player
guess.
controls both, and Laboschberg vineyard has been cleared, Prussian player wins an automatic victory. Total the VPs for the degree of victory and shift it one row in the Prussian favor. Make this determination on the first hour game turn during the army morale check phase. Um, so, I mean, I guess that's a weird thing to say, right? Because it's like, well, wait a minute. So if you just burned them down, it's actually possible that even with the one shift, you haven't really won.
yeah,
Well, and the question is, if he burns them down, does he control them?
Yeah,
yes,
Oh,
yeah. A
really?
player, yeah.
yeah. That is mentioned
If
in there.
both
If
Oh,
of
they,
the
okay.
yeah, if both of the hexes in a village are on fire, both of the ones for intended for control, and there is a Prussian unit in any hex of the village, the Prussians are considered to control the village. If all the hexes of the village are on fire, the Prussian player controls the village. Otherwise, the Austrian player does. So, I mean, really, it's kind of interesting because it's like don't even try to attack the Austrians. Just keep bombarding and hoping for a special result, and then just count on the flames to do the work for you. I don't know. I mean, that it's a little weird because it means that you are just counting on the dice to do your work for you. Um, but it doesn't make a lot of sense because it seems to me if you can get a fire started in either of those villages early enough, even one is going to spread a good amount. And obviously, if you can get one started in the middle of Lobositz village, even better, because then it can spread in all directions. Um, I got to believe between now and 5 o'clock, that's a whole lot of turns for you to roll an 8 or a 9 and cause the fire to spread. In which case, this whole thing has really just come down. Anyway, I don't know. I'm prepared to be wrong, but I don't see how in the world this provides the correct motivation.
Well, can you fire on a village hex if there's not a unit there?
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
oh, so
yes,
you could just specifically target.
with yeah,
Oh, interesting. Yeah. Well, that would be the thing to do, between whatever you're doing with your military stuff and then lobbing shells into the other guy, or trying to set the village on fire. Why not? That's two ways that you could achieve your objective. And considering how you're slowly slogging along here through the vineyard, I guess I need to send more troops up to the vineyard. It sounds like we need to hold the vineyard and forget about the town, right? All right, carry on with the rest of your shooting then, I guess, and then.
all right. Well, I'm actually not. I don't think I'm going to fire anymore of
Oh,
them.
okay.
Let's see. One, two, three. I think that'll go there. I think that's going there. That's going there, and that's going. Okay. All right. Now is movement. right.
Yeah, you don't have anyone who's disordered, do you? I don't think so. You got
No, that
somebody
would have
who's
been before
shaken, but
fire
nobody
went,
who's
right?
disordered that I can see. So yeah, it would be movement time. Time for a moving experience.
Time for a moving experience. So this guy will go there with that line. Let's see. Should I do that? Yeah, I should do that. That sounds like a good idea.
So when he comes out, does he have to change formation?
Yeah, he can only go one hex, but I think he can change. Yeah, I changed into line.
So it cost him
Any
2 to go
single
there.
formation.
I can only go one hex.
Oh, okay.
That's it. Yeah, that's his
Takes
whole
my whole
move.
move.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that takes my full movement. Let's see. All right. All right, so that's movement for that command. So this guy will go there and unlimber. This one will go there. This will go there. Do I want to go one more? Yeah, let me go one more on that with this guy here. I'll do it this. So he has to do a disorder check. Okay. And my special guy can combine 2 hexes. Is that all?
Believe so.
Okay.
Yeah, the leaders allowed player to combine 2 artillery stacks within the leader's command range into one fire combat against a single target that's beyond their minimum artillery range.
Let's see. All right, so now I can move this weird guy back in this.
What, you're not going to
Somehow
leave that
got
guy there?
nah. All right, so he's gonna have to do it. All right, so there are 2 in those village, right? Yeah,
Village, if he's in
2
march order, costs 1.
My general order march. Oh.
So it would cost him just 1 to go there.
All right, so it's 1 there, 1.5, 2.5, 3.5, 4, and he's going to have to make a disorder check, right?
If he only goes 4, he's fine. If he wants to go further than that.
But he went 2 in the village, isn't the village? Yes, the village.
Oh, moving through the village? Yeah, it's got a little asterisk there, I guess.
Affecting non-terrain for disorder check. So there's a good chance he might have disordered. Let's see here.
Yep, just barely.
He did. All right, I'm not too worried about that. Where morale? Disorder. There we go. And all right. Do any other things here? One, two, three, four, five. And here, and let's do all right. And all right. All right, so these independent units out here, they'll be in command if like guest stays there, right? Because it just any command.
Yeah, any
If they
well,
can,
no. It's any either the activated command leader or any non-command leader.
all right.
But he is a command leader, so unless he's the activated command leader,
No, he's
then
not.
no.
He's a but this if they stay in range
Yeah.
of him, he's
1,
fine.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, in that case, you're fine.
Yeah. Okay.
Right, because he's a wing leader.
Right.
Yeah.
But actually, I'm not moving Keith, so that's fine. Well, I was thinking, do I want to move? Yeah, let me do that. I'm going to move Keith over here just to make sure he or PB over there, just so that he will automatically get that. All right. And so he's that, but the others are still in command because there's a non-command leader within range. Let's see. And 5. Let's bring him forward to the. And him. All right, so we've got my 2 assaults here. All
Oh,
right.
exciting. Make
So
your
I roll for
rolls.
yep, I roll for everybody first. So let's start with those guys.
They probably pass. Oh, they're a 19.
So,
Do they pass or do
right.
they have to do better than their number?
No, that meeting the number is good
Oh,
enough.
okay.
All right. Okay. It's not like our regs. All right. So they're going in. All right. So this one here. Boom. Okay. 50. And this one here. And they
Oh,
don't.
they
So
don't.
that they're shaken.
They are
Right.
shaken. Shake and bake.
All right. So unit. All right. Good. I'm glad I went with both. All right.
So then he's not doing the close combat, so you would take that
Right.
marker off.
Yep, we can take that off.
Yeah.
All right. So let's do this guy first.
Okay, so I would retreat before combat, and I can go back 2. So
Yep.
we'll go here.
And so they will move in and they are done. Do I want both to go in? Yeah, sure. Let's actually let's keep those back there. So did I yep. Do that right. Okay. And the next one.
Okay, I would also retreat before combat. Oh, so let me go ahead and roll for this guy first, since he had to do a retreat. He's very happy about it. This guy's going to retreat back. He'll retreat there. And I guess he would be on top of the stack there. Okay, let me roll for them. 21.
That's overstacked.
How is it overstacked?
I thought you could only have 3 skirmishers in a hex.
Only
That's
3 can
correct.
fire out.
No, that is the stacking limit for skirmishers.
Oh, okay. Then I guess I
anything
could
more
retreat.
than that, yeah, you're not in skirmish order anymore.
Oh, so if that's the case, let me modify. So I would then have this guy go there instead. Right. And then this guy would go here. Okay. That's how we'll do it. That way everyone's in a spot. And I pass my check. So, okay.
21 passes?
With a +10, it does.
Oh, there are even those checks there. Okay.
I'm in skirmish order, so I get the benefit.
Yeah, you get it. All right. I'm not allowed to change facing, right?
You're in a zone of control, so you're not.
Well, I'm moving into a zone of control, but yeah. All right. So he has to go that way. All right.
Okay.
And I think that's going to be all of that. All right. So we got a 3 there. We got 2 there, and we got 3 there. All right. And that means he is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right. All right, it's you, Eric.
All right, let's chuck some dice. All right, that is one for us. Do you have anything desperately that you need to do, Michael?
Yeah, I need to put out a fire, but other than that, no.
And there's not a mechanic for that, I presume. In
Nope.
no bucket
No, there's
brigade. Okay.
No.
It's like a tinderbox ready to go up.
Apparently. What time of year is this? September or August?
First.
October 1st.
October 1st. Yeah, so I'm sure the little thatch roofs are all ready to go up in smoke. Well, let's see. I guess I could do something with Mr. Veed if we need to. And I'll activate my Grenadiers and Grenzers out in the vineyard. So cool. Let's do that. So first I've got...
I'm sitting here having a thought, Eric.
Yes.
That only his howitzers can shoot over infantry into empty hexes.
Okay.
So it seems to me then the only thing we can do is just try to put bodies between his guns and the village. Because that means that only his howitzers can shoot at the village. But otherwise, the villages are just going to burn down in the course of the game, and then there's no game. I'm thinking basically that our whole strategy was fundamentally flawed from the start.
So to defend in front of the city and
then just do everything you can to avoid giving him any cute line of sight into any of the empty hexes of the village, which, by the way, is gamey bullshit. But that's what it feels like, right? Because otherwise, all he's going to do is just pound the city, whether it's empty hexes or hexes that are occupied, because it doesn't really matter to him, because all he's looking for is a special result, and then hoping he can get enough of a fire going that eventually burns the whole village down and he doesn't even need to attack. So I'm realizing the only thing we can do to modify the chances of that happening is to get out there in front of the village and block his line of sight. I mean, tell me if I'm crazy, but it's too late for Solovitz. It's probably going to burn to the ground anyway, no matter what we do.
Well, yeah, it looks like every turn that goes by, there's a 20% chance that the neighboring hex will catch fire.
Each neighboring hex,
correct.
Right. So depending on which one he manages to hit.
Right. right? So, in theory, there's 100% chance after 5 turns that a specific neighboring hex will catch fire. The odds are that it will probably happen sooner than that, but after it's 100% that after 5 turns, which is almost 2 hours, the neighboring hex will catch fire, and etc. So,
yeah, I mean, and obviously Lobositz is harder to deal with that way because it's just
right.
longer, so unless you can get fire started in multiple places, might take too long. But Solovitz, it's really, I'm half a mind just to back out of the village. There's no reason to even be in it anymore.
Well, I mean, we'll just wait and see what happens. But yes, it could very well be the case. I don't know. I mean, if it's a case where that happens, then we send a note and we say a lot of the modifications were good, but this one,
Yep.
was
Trust me,
an
I am
error.
already typing.
Yeah. So,
I am
but
already typing.
yeah, but
Building a spreadsheet.
yeah, we'll just carry on with how we were doing it because
Yep.
it doesn't make any sense for us to now we're going to put our troops out there that are then going to get destroyed and the
Right.
village gets
And
captured
how's that
anyway.
better? Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. But he's been firing at you for several turns now, and this is the first time he's gotten anything to catch fire. So it could be the
And
sort
actually,
of thing.
that's interesting because if you think about it, he's got a 40% chance of getting a fire every turn.
Well, isn't he only have a 10% chance of getting a special result with each?
Yeah, but he's got 4 different fire attacks, right? I mean, he's got multiple stacks of artillery. He could spread it out and have a 40% chance of setting a fire every turn.
Even more, if I spread out to single guns in each, I could.
Yeah, I know you absolutely could, because in that case, you literally don't care about. You can even fire at less than 1 to 3 odds in an empty hex.
Yep.
It just seems way too easy.
Well, and if that's the case, then that's the sort of feedback that we can provide.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
we saw obviously there's clearly, and I'm sure everybody who had the original game realized really quickly that the setup and everything else was completely foobar.
Absolutely. And this is in many ways way better.
Yes, it's certainly making things go at a pace that was more historically appropriate for what everyone was thinking.
Right.
And so then if we've got this one game mechanic that is, potentially, yeah, you're right. I mean, look, Dave's got all his guns sort of spread out up here by the winery, so he can take multiple shots, at stuff.
Right.
And okay,
it just feels like it's giving strange motivations. That's the part that bothers me a little bit.
Well, the victory condition whereby whether the Prussian player captures the hex or he burns it down, he wins. Right?
Yeah.
That's if it was a case where he's got to capture it, then great. But if it's a case where he burns it down, the last person through controls it. Well, if that's the Austrians who are last person through, then the Austrians would control it. Or you say no one controls it. But we're looking at it like from that game point of view. But how does this work out with what's going on in that battle during that time period? Lobositz is kind of the village that's anchoring the Austrian right wing of the army. And
didn't it actually get burned down?
I can't remember.
Yeah, he actually comments in here that where was it? I was just reading it. Hold on. As a historical reference, the Prussians took Sulowitz and Lobositz for 5 victory points, and the Austrians committed 4 commands from the south, which is 4 victory points. The Austrians held the sunken road for -2 victory points. losses were even. That meant a total of 7 victory points, a minor Austrian victory. But since the Prussians fulfilled point D, and that's the one where they get the automatic victory, the victory point level shifted to a draw.
Mhm.
So this so it's a little misleading the way he describes it as an automatic victory, because really it's not an
Right.
it's not an automatic victory. It's just a but it does seem to suggest that the game ends. I mean it does. And 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 yet it just means that if you lose less badly, and if you're winning, you win better. But it feels to me like if you say automatic victory, that kind of sounds like the game's over. I don't know what else automatic victory could mean.
Well, but then it explains that it just shifts the
Right.
victory
I think
thing one level, right?
right. And but
Well,
as I said, Michael, I think you're interpreting it right. At that point, the game ends and the victory condition gets calculated, and it's
right.
if it ends, then it's probably going to be around a draw.
Well, except why would it be around a draw? You mean if you
If
didn't
I-
bother
if I
attacking?
if yeah, if I want to go
Yeah,
further, I've actually got to attack and go further and do stuff. And there's still that special event which may force me to go running down there with either
mm,
you know an infantry command or a cavalry command and just
right.
completely so there's still a lot of game here.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I think I'm gonna do some modeling and try to see. And
Hmm.
for all I know, Matthew did too. But I just I just don't.
So I don't
I'm
I
just
don't
trying.
yeah.
I'm trying to think in terms of what motivated the two commanders, and I just don't think that Frederick would have had top of mind. Well, if I could just burn those two villages down, that'd be great. I mean, I think he could have cared less about whether the villages stood or fell. What he wanted to do is destroy the Austrian army,
Right.
and that's not doing it. So it feels like it's giving the possibility of gaining a victory or gaining a draw through a completely irrelevant mechanism. I just don't quite get it. If you're not destroying the enemy army, what are you doing? I don't know. But obviously, what has David been doing? I mean, obviously, David's been very limited in what he's been able to do at this point. Of course,
Right.
Yeah.
perfectly understandable, right? So, of course, he's shooting with his guns and hoping to plink some fires in the village
Right.
and both villages. It makes total sense. Of course, that's what he should be doing, and of course he's attacking in the vineyard just like he should be.
Right.
And
Yeah.
he's kind of whenever he gets another activation, he kind of moves his way forward, but I don't know. It just seems like if the die rolls start falling a little bit more aggressively towards the fire, then he could just say, "Yeah, you know what? Never mind."
Well, so here's the thing. It says that if it um let's see, if both hexes in a village are on fire. Oh, those are those two special hexes.
Yeah.
And there's a Prussian unit in any hex of the village. The Prussians are
Yeah.
considered to control. If all hexes of the village are on fire, the Prussian player controls the village.
Right.
So he's got to get those two special hexes to catch fire and control one hex of the village. I don't
Or
know.
just gonna burn it all to the ground, and then it doesn't even matter if he has any troops there.
Yeah,
Well, obviously, you can't have any troops there in that case. But
right. Yeah. Well, we'll
I
just
don't know.
see. I mean,
Yeah, no, it's fine. I mean, obviously, especially because it's statistical, there is no certainty.
right.
I just don't like that it gives a weird motivation that seems weirdly ahistorical.
Right.
Well, again, I like your observation though that if you put your defense in front of the village, that
Uh-huh.
that definitely reduces the chances of
Well,
me,
yeah, I mean, it means you
because
get
now
fewer
I've
shots at it until
right,
you
and
can
now
rush.
I actually hopefully at some point get the vineyard cleared and start getting command points where I can attack. I mean, even now, I can't do anything unless I will not win this game unless I actually move forward and attack you. I have not been able to do that.
Well, of course, we didn't expect you to, right? I mean,
Right,
because you got to
right.
deal with the
That's what
vineyard
you were
first.
complaining about from the first version
Yeah.
of it, because that it was too easy for me to do that.
Yeah,
And
no, absolutely. I don't know. I guess part of the question is what's the what's the balance of of losses, I guess, because is that part of the equation too?
Yes.
The balance
yes,
of losses,
hmm
uh, it if you take a lot more losses than we do in the vineyard, then you'd feel obliged to make up some ground. And and that would mean you'd feel obliged to actually attack because you got to do
and right now
something.
I've been taking 2-1 losses against you in the vineyard.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. But but yeah, I mean, I'm with you, Eric. I mean, if we line up in front of the village, then it seems like we're just asking to give them a lot of loss points back.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah. And
I
then
don't
once
know.
all our
It's
guys are dead, there's nobody to defend the village. So, you know.
right.
So I'd rather take my chances where he's got to roll and he's got to get lucky
Yeah.
in order to get a hit, and so okay, and then we got to get lucky and get the next one to catch
Yeah.
fire and such, and so I mean, like for here, if he catches that one on fire, well, there's only one neighboring village, right? So
Yeah.
this can't
Well,
go in a
obviously
lot
that
of
means he
places.
doesn't shoot at that one.
Yeah, yeah.
I
No, no,
mean,
no, no, no. I
that's
know.
the
Yeah,
obvious choice, right?
yeah. No, but I mean that's
Uh,
So I don't know.
yeah.
As I said, we'll just see how it all plays out. All right, so I'm
Yeah.
activating
Just
Veed and I'm
realistically,
activating the guys up in the Lobosh there. Um, so I've already cleared this guy's disorder. Um, and let's see. Then we'll start doing some shooting. So I've got these Grenzers. They're gonna fire here on these chaps there. So that is 3 times, they're grenadiers, 3 times 4. So that's going to be 12. 12 to 15 is 1 to 1.5. No pluses, no minuses. 41 is going to be a miss. Doot, 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 doot. All right, and then here I've got 4 increments of grenadiers. So that's going to be 16, and then another 5 for that guy is going to be 21. 21 to 15. So that's a 1-to-1 shot. No pluses, no minuses. Here we go. 78 at 1-to-1. That's good enough for a hit on your little grenadiers there. And a morale check.
and the morale check. Boom, and
Oh, they are disordered. Or are they shaken?
Yep. Shaken.
Shaken. Shaken. Shake and bake. All right. And then shaken guys can move, right? These guys can move, and they can move their regular full movement, correct? These guys that are back here. They just can't move into another enemy ZOC, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so they can move up here. but they couldn't move any further forward, for example. 1, 2. Okay. All right. And then I'll mark them as finished. Okay. All right. And then we'll flip this guy over. All right. And I'm done with Veed as well. Okay. And we'll flip him over. And good. That's it for me. David, time for you to roll some dice.
All right. Oh, all right. You don't want to move anybody out of the village, or you're going to stay there, or do you want to
I'm
maybe?
done with my movement. I just flipped the feed
Okay.
over, so I'm just saying it's time for you to.
Yeah, I know. Just okay, because you were.
We discussed it, but it sounded like he felt like the right thing to do was to sit in the village.
The other thing I was just as an aside, you might want to turn your guns slightly because the way they're pointing, they're not the most efficient. But
I mean, it doesn't matter until you get a hell of a lot closer anyway. Ours are 6-pounders.
not
Yeah,
all.
but even so, if I turned, I
Oh,
could
you
only
got the
fire
12
half of
pounder.
you, because wouldn't I have the village blocking?
Well,
Right.
Well, it depends on
where the target
your
was.
arc would move further up
Okay.
northward.
Right. So
But you're right.
say I turn this guy this way, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And you've got a unit there.
Yeah.
Or
Well,
you got
there
a unit there,
yeah.
then I can only hit you with half my stuff, right?
Yeah, but if I had a unit,
But you could
it'd be
fire
full,
there,
and you
which you
can't even
couldn't
hit him.
do if you're existing facing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
No,
You could fire there full strength, where with your existing facing, you can't fire in that hex at all.
right.
So, I mean, is it a big difference? Well, I mean, none of it matters till the enemy gets a hell of a lot closer.
Yeah, I've got to
When
get a
you're
little closer than
6-pounder, what
that.
are you going to do?
I knew you had a 12 pounder in there somewhere. There,
I do.
he is already faced in
Yeah, the 12
in a
pounder
more
is
optimum.
in a yeah, he's in a better spot.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Rolling.
Okay. That's another one for us.
Doesn't move any clock. Yes.
Doesn't move the clock. All right. Then I will go ahead. I really don't have anything else, any other commands to move. I mean, I guess I could do Haddock and just kind of change the facing for the skirmishers. And that's it for that. Okay, over to you, Michael.
Okay. See what I got.
That is going to be a tie,
right.
And that moves the clock.
Clock, so that was a victory.
Oh, 6-0. What is that?
6 for us.
That is, hey, free fire combat. Initiative required. Well, we can try to do that with our guys up in the hinterlands.
Yeah, I mean, I guess.
Let me see. I got a roll for Draskowitz. Let's see what we get. Oh, they're good. So we can get some more shooting in. So let's see. I think we had a 1-to-1 here. So let's go ahead and do that 1-to-1. 97 at 1-to-1. That's going to be
just a hit.
Just a hit, no morale check on your poor little grenadiers there.
Hoping to bankrupt the Prussian royal treasury with all the letters you're going to have to send home to the bereaved.
Of course, he hasn't educated his people in how to read, so there's no letters necessary to be sent. All right, and then here we've got a 1 to 1.5 on those chaps, and let's see if we can roll equally well. No, not today. Okay. All right, I'm going to put a little finished marker on him so we know that he can't do any more magical things. Okay. Cool. All right. Go ahead and roll again, Michael.
All right, this time with feeling.
And that's one for us. So
Good.
what do you want to do? I mean, I can keep doing stuff with my stuff.
Honestly, I have very little that I need to do at this point.
Okay.
I've got cavalry, you know, in position.
Right.
I've got infantry who are all going to get dislodged by the fire. I've got other infantry that I don't want to bring across the Morellenbach and just give him more victory points for no good reason. So I don't see that I have anything to do.
Okay.
Is
Well,
basically
then
what
I
I'm
will
saying.
just flip over a random cavalry commander. All right. That's it. Woo woo. Actually, should I keep my Grenzers in the sunken road, or would it make more sense to move them back in line with the cavalry?
I'm not sure. Um, Obviously, Grenzers are in terrific danger if they're in the clear, because of the enemy cavalry. I'm not really sure if being in the sunken road does them a whole lot of good.
I think actually being behind a sunken road may do them a little more good if I remember reading it right, but I'm not positive. Don't take my word for that.
Right. I'm Yeah, I don't know. I would be willing to bet that
I'm just going to move them back because I
yeah,
know that, like in some of the Lobotai stuff, if you're in a sunken road, cavalry can't charge you, kind of stuff. But here it looks like
I don't
sunken
think
road
that's
is
the
not
case here.
prohibited.
In
It calls
fact,
for a
if
morale check,
anything,
but
a
yeah,
lot of times in this series of rules, it protects you against fire combat, but it's actually detrimental to you in some ways. So,
yeah,
which makes sense for for formed units, and you can understand how it might be a little awkward to deal with a formed unit in a sunken road. But let's see, it gives you, fire defense value of 15. Um,
which, to be honest with you, doesn't make any sense because you're not in the sunken road, right? It's not. I mean, they weren't using it like a trench.
no, actually, okay, so
Yeah,
what it's saying is that there are conditions listed below, and if the conditions are met, then you get a 15 fire defense value, and if they're
right,
not met, their fire defense value is 10,
right,
which basically says, are you in or not?
right,
Non-skirmish infantry must be in line formation. At least one of its flank hexes has to be a sunken road hex, and all the enemy fire must come from a non-sunken road hex, and that would get you 15 fire defense
right.
value. Skirmish units, all enemy fire comes from a non-sunken road hex. It feels like you're in the sunken road.
Yeah, yeah. No, if they're presenting it like that, yeah, it does sound like you're down in the sunken road part,
But it
which
gives a -2 CV modifier to units defending in them or attacking out of them.
right,
So it's kind of like, okay.
which would make sense if you're
So,
down in the depression.
yeah,
Yeah,
right. And so there's a thought that that if you are a cavalry unit, you might choose to be far enough back that the enemy has to pass through it and maybe become disordered
mm-hmm,
as they try to charge you, or they just move up into that hex and then you can op charge them at -2.
right,
Right. I mean, so that's where kind of the appeal is. I don't really know how the skirmishers play into it, though. I
yeah.
don't really see.
I'm
Oh, and actually, the sunken road PV modifiers are doubled when cavalry are involved in the combat, so that cavalry units defending in a sunken road or attacking out of a sunken road have a -4
okay.
TV modifier. So you definitely want them to move into that hex, and then you op charge them,
Right.
or then you reaction charge them. They have to attack you at -4.
Right.
That's pretty harsh.
Interesting.
So that means your cavalry's in a great place. But again, I don't really know what the skirmishers is supposed to do.
Yeah, no, I'm just gonna. I thought, well, maybe I'd move them into the vineyard, but at this point, I think I'll just keep them back. Uh, as support. I know historically there were skirmishers that were back there by the sunken road that helped to drive off the Prussian cavalry attack.
Well, I struggle to see how.
Well, they were sniping at the cavalry, at the Prussian cavalry. They had that
Yeah,
impetuous charge thing or whatever it was they did, and
yeah,
ended up getting chopped up by artillery and stuff. But it doesn't matter. Okay, I'm
yeah.
done.
I
I'll go
honestly,
ahead and roll.
if I were you, I would be moving them up to the vineyard. I think that's their highest and best use at this point. Make him drag it out.
Okay,
I don't see what they're going to do down south that's going to
yeah.
be of any utility.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, let's see. So they were here. So 1, 2, 3. I'll put him here. It'll take a little while for them to get there.
That's fine.
And this guy was here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay.
Is that really all as far as they can move?
So in the village, they only move 1, I think, right?
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's got
All right.
cavalry out here, so if I'm outside of the village, I can't retreat before combat.
Oh,
So
no.
yeah.
I absolutely.
Yeah.
No, I get moving through the village. I guess I just didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't count on that. And of course, they're not in road order, so they can't take advantage of the road. So, okay, fair enough. Well, that's okay. I think there'll be plenty of time for them to get up there and act to just drag out the vineyard.
Yep. Okay. I will go ahead and
We'll
chuck some
still get
dice
a
for
great
initiative.
view of the fires in the village from up on the hill.
All right, 42. That is 1 for us. So I will just go ahead and activate O'Donnell and flip him, and voila. So I've finished up all of my command. All right, David, it's over to you.
Another one to
11.
you.
Yeah. All right, this is over to you, Michael.
Okay. Yeah, wow. Yeah, I mean, I just don't know. I just don't see anything to do.
Well, then just flip somebody over. Okay.
Yeah, just flip that guy over
All right.
and let's just roll high.
Well, you're the one rolling.
Well,
that gives 1 to him, and it's not high enough.
and it wasn't high enough, so that was kind of like the ultimate bad roll. I've never ever done that before.
Never.
Let's see. All right. We'll go with who is this guy back here? Schwerin. All right. We'll go 1. No. Actually, let's not do all of them at once. All right, we'll do these 2. 1/2. 1.5. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. All right, to this one, let's go 1, 2, 3, 4,
6 will get you right there.
No, that's
Right, that's what I mean. So this is going to be 4.5. That's going to be 5.5, and 6 gets you right there. You'd still be in the same formation that you're in the same facing.
yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
All right. What is it? I went to 1.
You're at 4 right now.
4. Let's go. That's 5 and 6. AB and AB, and let's see. And so this guy needs to be within 6 of him and 5 of that guy. 2, 3, 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so he's going to there. Flip.
All right, time for me to chuck some dice. Oh, we get that special thing.
Is that Frederick?
That is Frederick.
That's a Frederick.
That
Well, and I
is
think
a
we're at a high enough number that you have to roll now, don't you?
Frederick
Yeah.
will flee on a roll of a 0 and a 1, I think, right? Yeah,
So
because you've got
1
15
die.
losses.
Yeah, I've got a little more than 15, but
So
yeah.
0 or 1 will get him to quit the field. Otherwise,
All right. So see,
nope.
he's hanging around.
He's hanging around. He's feeling confident. The reports from the Lobosh look promising. All right, let's roll again. 21. That's 1 for us, and it doesn't move the clock. I'm sorry. I apologize. I put all my mojo luck into the Frederick roll, Michael.
That's how baseball go.
Yep.
All right. I'm done.
Okay. All right, David.
All right. Boom.
Well, that's going to move the clock.
The clock. And it's another one for you.
It is.
All righty.
Power to you, Michael.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, okay, done. Is my roll?
Yep.
Yep. Oh, that's definitely going to move the clock.
Okay, we're at 4 now. Um, that's another activation for us, I guess. So,
Yep.
alrighty.
All right, here's for me. Oh, that's another one that's going to move the clock, and that's another one for us.
Alrighty. Let's see. I do have these guys organized so. All right, good. That's that, David.
Oh, that's
Another
another one
move of the
moving the
clock.
clock.
Another one for you.
All right, and go ahead and do this one. And I think that's it for me. And you are already done up there, Eric?
That is correct.
Okay.
So
All
now
right.
go ahead and roll the dice, Michael.
Big numbers, big numbers, big money, big
Oh,
money.
that's one for him, but it does
Pick it
move the
up.
clock.
Okay. So enjoy it while you got it.
All right. Well, let's do what's his name here. Let's see. What do we got down here? We'll do KY. Kiao.
Gesundheit.
All right. Let's see. We got, what do we got here? And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we'll activate my hussars there too. Skirmishers. Why is this guy out here with a left hook on him? What the heck was I doing? Oh, those because there's a. All right.
Who was that crazy guy last week?
Actually, it was probably 3 weeks ago or a month ago. I don't know that.
Since the last time you moved?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, because last time we didn't get a lot of activations for the Prussians, so it's probably been a month or more since those guys got an order.
Yeah. All right. I think that's so where. Oh, let me move the commander here. Let's see. He can go anywhere up to. Let's 3. He should be in command there. All right.
All right. Is it my turn to roll, or is it Michael's turn to roll?
Uppity, rolling back.
That
rolling
was
back.
you.
Oh,
Yep,
that was
I
Michael.
rolled it.
Okay, that was Michael,
Yeah,
so it's
I
my
rolled.
turn. Okay, here we go. Oh, it's a special something. An
4 for the
04.
Prussians. Uh-oh.
That is aggressive leader. One
Uh-oh.
Prussian
That's the
command may advance to combat. Initiative required. You're going to have to read up on the rule for that because I forgot what that one does.
Yeah, it's been a while. Yeah. I'm looking for it here.
So, initiative, special results, aggressive leader. Each player rolls a die. The player with a higher roll, Prussian player wins, picks a Prussian command that has less than half its units in the Lobosberg vineyard, has not yet been activated, and at least one of its unit has a line of sight to any Austrian command that has its hex units south of the Lobosberg vineyard. Point 3 is necessary to make sure a worthy target is chosen for their attention rather than an isolated skirmisher or some other non-entity. The Prussian player rolls for initiative for the command leader, subtracting 1 from the die roll if it's cavalry command and adding 1 if it's infantry command. If the leader passes, the command is activated and the Prussian player must advance them on any Austrian command to which it has a line of sight with the goal of engaging them in close combat. If there are no eligible Prussian commands or if the leader fails the initiative, there's no penalty and no special result. For the command chosen, in every activation, at least one of the units must use all available movement points, and at the Prussian player's discretion, units may rapid march. This point allows the player to form up his units for a proper attack instead of uncoordinated jumble of units. If the command does not contact the enemy in its special result activation, it will be the first activation of the next turn, and any following turns, no initiative roll is necessary.
Oh, wow.
And will
That's a
continue.
novelty.
Yeah, and will continue its advance in the same manner. This point is necessary in case the chosen Austrian command is more than one turn's move away.
Right.
The initial chosen Austrian target command moves out of line. If the initial chosen Austrian target moves out of line of sight, the Prussian player may opt to switch targets. The Prussians are not limited to attacking only the units of a single command. This point is necessary to keep the Austrians honest. Independent units and attached units may be activated along with the command per normal rules. This event is normal. Okay, so we should probably roll to see who, roll 1 die to see who gets to pick the command, and then see if we even have anything that's got a line of sight to anybody. So the only thing that hasn't been activated is... Okay, so we roll the 7-4. So the Austrians have get to pick the command, right? So we have to pick...
Tell me again what the criteria are.
So it has to have less than half its units in the Lobosberg, right?
Okay.
Has not yet been activated, and at least one of its units has a line of sight to any Austrian command that has units south of the Lobosberg. So the only thing that might qualify would be this cavalry here, right?
Well, they would for sure.
Yeah. Because they haven't been activated yet.
Okay.
His infantry's all been activated.
This
KY is activated, and KY is blocking line of sight to KA, which hasn't been activated.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So I think those guys are the only ones that fit the model for doing this aggressive leader thing. So then what you're going to do is you're going to roll for... Prussian player rolls the initiative of the commanding leader, subtracting 1 from the die roll if it's a cavalry command. So that means they're more likely to be impetuous. So we're looking for Commander K. That's Kata, right? who is here.
Yeah, where is
He's right
where is
there. K's right there behind the artillery.
well, okay.
Yeah. So you would make a check for him. If he passes, then you're going to do all that stuff where you're going to be moving to try to attack. If he
Yeah,
fails, then
yeah.
we roll again and see what we get.
And which units are his? All these blue and pink ones over on the left, right? Are blue and
No.
red?
His is just this one big regiment. So K,
I'm
these are
saying it's not
these.
activating his whole command. It's only those units that have a view.
No. That's his entire command is those. It's just those 3 units.
Oh,
Yeah.
that SC kind of looks like a K and
Yeah. No.
with very old eyes.
Yeah.
Wow, so that's it.
That's it. Yeah, it's just those 3, I guess,
Wow.
3 regiments.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one big regiment that's broken down into 3.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, what a mess.
Yeah. So, David, go ahead and roll 1 die. We'll subtract 1 from the result and then compare it to his initiative rating.
Hey, now I should have been able to roll my 1 die for when we both were rolling 1 instead of Michael rolling for both of us here. I don't know if I like that.
Well, to be honest with you, it doesn't matter whether you got it or not. That's the only
That's right.
formation
It's
that fits the
This
criteria.
was the only one that was a valid choice anyway, right?
Yeah. So whether you got whether you got to pick or not, that's the only one that anybody could have picked.
Well, actually, KA could have been picked too. So,
Well, how does KA have a line of sight on any enemy formation?
he has a line of sight on this one down here.
Wait.
Where's KA?
So you're saying that is line of sight drawn out of any hex side or only through your front hexes?
I don't think front or side matters.
Yeah, I didn't think
I'm sorry, I still don't know where KA is. Forgive me.
KA is in the middle of my stuff here, and if you look straight south, he can see this one cavalry unit down there. But I'm gonna roll for my cavalry here. Let's see, and I'm hoping to roll big. So we'll see here.
I don't know that it matters. A
That
7,
may be-
so that becomes a 6, and
There's
so
a
see what your
6.
guy is.
And that's this guy right there. And
He's a 4, so it doesn't matter.
So,
yeah.
That's good.
So nothing happens. So I go ahead and roll again, see if we get a different result. Hey,
Definitely
we get big
one-
boxcars.
Definitely one that would be a lot more interesting if we get it earlier in the turn.
Right. Before things have already been activated.
Exactly, right. And obviously, as we're getting closer, it's going to be even easier for this to happen. But anyway, okay. Well, that's enough to put us to end turn. So it's going to be an activation for David, a limited activation for David.
Right. So he's got 2 formations that haven't gone yet, K, A, and K.
Well, yeah, because Kata is flipped over right now, but he really shouldn't be unless you've just activated him.
No, I'll do. Let's see, and do I want to move him at all? He should be good there. We'll do Katze. All right, and
okay, and then David, you
me,
go ahead and
right?
roll. Yeah.
There's
And that's
the
nothing
one.
any good. So that's going to get Kate to flip, and that should take care of everybody, right?
Oh, all your guys done?
Oh,
Yeah.
we've been done for quite a while.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
We haven't done anything. We're done.
Yeah. Because we were already in a pretty decent defensive position, so.
I mean, you didn't. I did.
So
You've activated all your commands?
Oh yeah. We did that quite a while ago.
Right.
Yeah. That's why we were handing them over to you.
So.
Yeah. Okay. So that takes care of all the commands that are left to be activated. So now we would have the rally phase.
Roll for rally.
And
The
it looks like
Prussians rally first. Got a couple of shaken stacks, looks like. 3 shaken stacks you need to worry about?
Now, is there a zone of control rule in this one, or?
Yeah, there's a +10 for being in a zone of control. So
Oh, but
that's
they can still roll. Okay, okay.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. It's
All right.
just it's just
Well,
smarter.
yeah, because all right, all right.
Yeah, so it's gonna
So
be
we'll
plus
start with
20, maybe minus something for the vineyard. I don't know.
probably not. I don't know of any, unless there's something in the chart there. But I'll roll this one here first, and we'll see what
Yep.
he got. 46. He's a 19, so I think he probably made it.
Yep.
Yep. No, he probably would have then.
All right, and we'll go to this guy here.
Oh,
91. I'm
he's
sure
very
he's
happy.
and delete. And this last one here.
Oof.
0,
That's
0.
a failure.
Wow. Yeah, that's a pretty authoritative failure.
That's twice he's failed.
Well, he's probably found some of the grapes, and he's just having himself a nice
Yeah,
time.
and they're having a great time out there. You know, so, whoa, wee. All right, that's all my shaking. So
Okay.
we go to.
I've got a guy over here, so let me roll for him. He's feeling better about his life and life choices.
Yeah, should be. Yeah.
Okay. All right. We
That
can
it?
remove that. No, I've got the grenadier who's down here in the village. So let's go ahead and roll for him. And they're happy. So they are, what, a -10 for being shaken, but they're stacked with Lacey, who adds 12, and then they're in the village, so they've got a +7. So yeah, so they're going to be all better now. All better. Let's see, is there anybody else? I think that was it. So, all right. Can we hit the different buttons and make things magically happen?
Yeah, absolutely. So let's end turn and move. And wow, it looks so clean now.
It does.
And move the minutes to the 20 and move the hours to the 0. And I think we've done it, boys.
I think so too.
Not quite as fast as last week, but yeah, we got it.
Well, you got some more activations in this time. You got all your infantry to move for starters, and you got 2 of your other people to go. So that's interesting. Okay, well, we will see what next week brings, gentlemen. So
Right, next Saturday.
Indeed. Okay.
Very
cool.
good. I will just throw out the possibility. Daughter child is coming back next Saturday. Flight lands at 5 though, so unless there's weird weather or something, I shouldn't have any difficulty at all being here by 8. But I'm just putting you on notice that if it gets super weird, I guess maybe there would be the potential of a delay.
Well, we could always push it back an hour. I don't mind, only because...
Look, just to be clear, there's no reason to expect that.
Right.
I would certainly let you know if that sort of thing's going on, but...
Oh, okay.
I would expect to be here, in plenty of time, but, I did just get to spend an extra day in Europe because of, air travel.
That's true.
So, you never know.
Okay.
So anyway, otherwise, we will just plan on seeing you next weekend.
Yep. And we need to roll for stuff catching fire and spreading. That should be interesting to see how that pans out.
That's right. Yeah. Well, that needs to be the first First bit of business.
Business, indeed.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Very well.
Very good.
Thanks to everybody who was
Adios.
tuning in. We will see everyone's happy, smiling virtual faces next week.
Okay.
Okay.